What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How y'all doing? So, Star Trek Discovery just dropped their first 2 episodes today, and I'm a little bit. I like it, and I really want to watch some more, but I don't think it's what I thought it was gonna be, and I don't know if it's. It's definitely a different Star Trek. It's not the Star Trek that we kind of, we all grew up with, and we all, know and love, I guess, in different ways, and, maybe not so much for different series, but, it's the Star Trek that I think a lot of us kind of hoped we might see come back. Not quite seeing it here. Elements of it, but not really. For me, this is very much going down the J.J. Abrams way of doing Star Trek, which has its good points and bad points. So, but overall, I'm interested in this series. So, we'll have to see how it develops. So, for me, though, this doesn't feel like a TV series. This feels like a giant movie that's going to be broken up into different episodes, all throughout. And, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is still yet to be seen. Like, the first 2 episodes are essentially one. It's a big movie. It's just a movie. It's a giant prologue. It's just been split in half. Just because they wanted to do episodes. They could easily have just left it all together. For me, though, the look of this series is fantastic. Like, the graphic, everything about it is top notch. Like, this ain't just some TV series with a TV budget and all the rest of it. It's got a serious budget to it. Like, the look of the ships, the sets, the space battles, everything is right up here. Like, easily could beat some movies, for God's sake, just by the sheer look of it. It's very, very good. Very, very good. I mean, like, pretty much, like, one of the first scenes is, Michael Burnham, who's the main character. She's basically jetpacking through a meteor, like a big meteor belt, in a binary system with a beautiful, beautiful backdrop. Everything. It looks amazing. And she's like scooting through and all that. Fantastic. Like, this is movie quality stuff. And, the ships look fantastic. The Klingon ships, all of it, it's great. And the way a lot of it looks as well is it's still, it does look older, I guess, than, obviously because this is, between Enterprise and the original series, timelines. You can kind of tell that it looks older, but unfortunately, like, ship-wise, obviously the original Enterprise definitely looks far older than these ones. But if you compare them to the J.J. Abrams ones, they do kind of look a little bit older because they're a bit smaller. The transporters on the Shinjo and all that, this big giant dish in the background, and, they even state that they've been phased out of the different ships. It's just that the Shinjo's an older ship. By the way, the fact that, pretty much majority of what we've seen, like, ship-wise, has been the Shinjo, and we haven't really had a good look at the Discovery, I quite like. I quite like that, because it gives me something, to look forward to in the next few episodes, is seeing the Discovery for the first time. That scene of when she pulls out a space dock for the first time, like, oh, I'm looking forward to that. If they have that, the way the Star Trek's going, it may not have that type of scene because they want to do everything differently. But all of it looks fantastic. All of it looks fantastic for the first 2 episodes. Fantastic. But for me, there've been some changes that I'm a little bit weary of. They are playing a little fast and loose with the lores, and lore and stuff. Like, no one ever mentioned that Sarek had this sort of kind of adopted daughter, because technically Spock's alive right now. This is only 10 years before Kirk and Spock, so Spock's there. And, no one ever mentioned that Spock kind of had this sort of adopted little human sister. I don't know. And the Klingons themselves, the look of them, I know the look of the Klingons has changed, dramatically through all the series. I know that. But for me, they just don't quite look right. They don't quite look, I don't know. There's just something about them. I don't know if this is the wrong word, but they look too alien. I think maybe that's, because for me, they kind of look like a mix of Klingons and the bad guy from Star Trek Beyond. I don't know. They're still cool because they follow, especially Takuvma, they're talking about like Kalesh and all that, the core, Klingon, the core culture to them is still there, and it's still, it's definitely a focus of them, which is great, which is awesome, because I've always been very interested in Klingon culture. I think it's been, a lot of my favorite episodes have been, especially in Next Generation, has been, about Worf and, the Klingons and all that. That's, that's fantastic. And to have this, these 2 episodes sort of being about, the great, 24 great houses of the Klingon Empire being sort of reunited back under one sort of empire, reestablishing them as this great empire, was great. I love that part. This giant beacon that sends out this giant light that everyone thinks is a new star and all that, and that, guides these, these 24 ships back, for this awesome fight. It was awesome. And, this giant, Klingon ship that can cloak and can, seems to put its dead on the outside of the ship. So the dead becomes the armor of the ship. I liked it. I think that was a really cool touch. But yeah, the look of them, I don't know. I'm still a little bit. I'm still like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch them more. I'm gonna have to watch a little more to get used to it. I think is probably what I'm gonna have to do. Character-wise, so obviously we have our main character, Michael Burnham. She's played by Sonequa Martin Green, and she's interesting. She's interesting. She's not your usual character. Like, she's not this, stock standard cookie cutter Star Trek character. She's not perfect by any means. Like, she has a really interesting backstory with, being brought up by Vulcans. Her parents were killed by Klingons in this raid and all that. She's, the first human to sort of, go through the learning center in the science academy on Vulcan. Really interesting in that way. And then she got put on the Shenzhou for 7 years, and this captain basically, for the past 7 years, has been picking apart her Vulcan teachings. Which probably explains why she's really, she's probably the one who follows her emotions a lot. She's unpredictable. She doesn't follow rules. She's pretty much like most captains of most Star Trek things that we've seen. But a lot of the stuff she does makes everything worse. It makes it all worse. She, instead of just doing a flyby of the Klingon beacon, but they didn't know it was a Klingon beacon at that point, she lands on it and causes all this stuff to sort of escalate and happen, all the Klingon thing. But I mean, I think it was probably going to happen anyway. And then she, basically tries to take over the ship because she wants to fire first, but Federation never fires first. Damn right in that. And she Vulcan nerve pinches the freaking, the captain. Not very well, by the way, because she wakes up like a minute later. But, she does all this stuff, and that, the crew's sort of off kilter at that point, and then the fleet shows up, and then the Klingons attack, and then she goes to the captain, and she tells her, we can't kill Takuvma, because if we do, he becomes a martyr. And the Klingons will use him as a rallying cry to go to war, and he'll always be that reason why they're at war with us. They go on the ship, They do a pretty badass thing. They get a core of a photon torpedo, attach it to one of the dead Klingons as they're beaming all the dead back in, because Takuma has this thing about, making sure that the dead of all of the people that have fallen in battle, have the sort of the rites, done to them. And, he beams them back on board. And of course, one's got a photon torpedo in them and blows up the ship, blows up the neck of the ship. But they go on board, and Takuma ends up killing the captain. Saw that coming a mile away, and she goes straight up and shoots him. Like, you said, don't kill him. Then you go and kill him. You can tell how, like, she's very emotionally driven. So she saw that the captain got killed. So she goes and kills the guy that killed the captain. Like, there's no, like, it seems like all the training she's had from the Vulcans and all that is gone. It's gone. She just doesn't give a shit sometimes. Or she just she just can't control it. So there is some very interesting aspects to her. And it's going to be interesting to see how she develops as a character as we go through this, series. And, obviously her being, not a captain is interesting. And obviously now she's a prisoner because she's, she broke all those rules. But, we know she's going to get, someone's going to come along, take her out of prison. You'll be on a short leash, so don't you break the rules again. And she'll get put on the Discovery. So, we all knew that. We all know that's coming. But yeah, she's an interesting character. Whether she becomes one of those characters that everyone associates with Star Trek, that's going to be another thing. Is she going to be one of those, core Star Trek characters, or is she going to be just another one that everyone forgets? It is going to be interesting to see as the series goes on, whether that happens or not. Captain George, I think it's Giorgio. I'm sorry if I say that wrong, Giorgio. She was just like the typical sort of badass captain, very, calming. She knows all the tricks of the trade. Like, she knew how to save them instantly on the planet. She's, decent tactician and all that. She was a badass captain. But as soon as they said that they were going to go on that board, that Klingon ship, and go and get that guy, I was like, this lady's dead. This lady's dead. She's not getting past this episode. I'm sorry. She's not. It's just not. Like, maybe she'll be in some flashbacks or, stuff like that. But I was just like, damn it, you're not coming back from this mission. Sorry, Captain. But she was a good captain. I liked her. But it's a shame that we don't get to. We probably won't get to see her too much as the captain of the Discovery or anything like that. So, oh well. Lieutenant Saru, the science officer, basically always in conflict with Michael, constantly arguing with each other because, he's very, like, cautious. Like, he doesn't want to do, he wants to live. His species was prey, and their big thing that, evolved into them was, we know when we're in danger and we know when we're probably going to die. So you should really listen to us. So, that was, I think he was a little annoying for me at the start, and he kind of grew on me, as the episodes, sort of like played out. He's definitely not on the level of, Spock and, Data and all that. Like, that's not a thing. I don't think that's going to be a thing we're going to have to worry about, but, he's interesting. And it's a new species, it's a new species that I haven't seen before. Like, maybe they have been there, but, I'm definitely not familiar with them. So that, like, we saw a lot of people on that bridge. Like, there was, I don't know if she was like an android or a cyborg or something, but she had this helmet on and all that. But she had like looked like a human body or something. So maybe it was just, she was like enhanced, technology, cybernetically enhanced, person or something. I don't know. When you saw that guy, that the communications officer that had like sort of which kind of reminded me of a Star Wars thing where they have the cybernetic implants around the head and stuff. That was cool. I like the different looks. I like the different looks of, a lot, of the aliens and the races, and obviously with all the cybernetic implants and stuff. Because they would be bigger at that point. They would look more, they're not so well hidden, and they don't have just things in them that are very sleek and all that, because this is in the past. So they would have technology that maybe was outlawed later on, or their implants are a heck of a lot bigger, because they're just the technology's not there yet. So that was cool. That was cool. I liked the different looks of the crew, and a lot of the crew, they were believable in what they were doing. Takufma was like I said, his story was very cool. I liked the whole reuniting the Empire. His ship was badass. I mean, the whole thing with the Admiral. The Admiral shows up on the Europa and basically cockily strolls up. By the way, the holo recordings and stuff, how they sort of just walk around the room and all that. God, that looks far more. It looks far more advanced than all the other Star Treks, just by this hologram walking around. It was a little off-putting, let's just say. I was shocked by it when I saw it. But how he walks up, he rocks up there, saves the Shinjo, and then cockily talks to the Klingon like, yes, let's start a dialogue and all that. He's all cocky about it, and then suddenly, basically, Takufma just runs the ship into the Europa, and they can't see it because it's cloaked. And it's not until it decloaks that they realize what's happening. That was badass. I really liked that. That was awesome. It's a shame that he's dead. I'm assuming he's dead. Like I don't know if they're gonna bring him back or not, but it's a real shame he's dead, because he would have been cool to have around, like this badass Klingon that's reuniting all the houses together and all that. Like that would have been cool, because that would give you like this, main Klingon that you're dealing with. But no, it was a bit of a shame. It was a bit of a shame that he's gone. And just everyone else around them was a pretty stock standard. I mean, the computer voice was, not as good as the classic, of Next Generation with Gene Roddenberry's wife. Like that, that's the classic, computer voice. But it was cool. It was cool to have all that back. And so the only thing I'm worried about is that this Star Trek might go away from what makes Star Trek what we all know and love, is that the discovery part. Like, they even said it. Like, they even said it in the episode. Like, when the ensign comes up, goes to the brig, and he's delusional, and he's like talking to Michael, and he's like, "But we're Starfleet. We're not, we're not soldiers. We're explorers. We're not supposed to be fighting." Exactly. I hope this series isn't all about them fighting with the Klingons the entire time. I want exploration. I want crazy adventures and stuff like that. I'm just worried that it won't be that it will just be this giant long movie all broken up into sections. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm crossing my fingers. I think, it's definitely, if you were hoping that this was going to be like, sort of a newer version of the old school Star Trek, I think you're going to be disappointed. I think you will be. Like, if you like the J.J. Abrams, style, I think you'll like it. I think you'll really like it. But if you want that to sort of go back to the old school Star Trek, I think you might be a little bit disappointed. But it's still good. It's still interesting to watch. It's still Star Trek. But it may not be what you were hoping for. If you're wanting that, by the way, I would go check out The Orville if you haven't. The Orville is actually kind of decent. It's getting better. First episode was a bit rocky. It was a bit rocky. I don't think they really knew what they were doing with that. Because they're trying to sell it as this comedy show. But I think it's definitely a better sci-fi show than it is a comedy show. So it is essentially the most Star Trekiest thing that's not Star Trek. It is like everything it does, the music, the scenes, the transitions and all that. The opening theme, I think, is far better in the Orville than this one. Like, Star Trek Discovery's opening cinematic it's a little too serious for me. It's a little too, like, where's the classic music and stuff? Like, it just, it wasn't for me. Like, it kind of looked like kind of a James Bond opening sequence. It wasn't Star Trek. It wasn't Star Trek. But Orville's is. The Orville's is. So if you are wanting that kind of old school, like, what crazy adventures is the crew going to get up to today, the Orville's probably where you should go for that. It's actually not bad. It's not bad. It's not Star Trek, but it's as close as you're probably going to get to the old one at the moment. That's not the old ones. But yeah. Overall, like, I'm looking forward to more episodes of Discovery. I want to see where it goes. I want to see how it develops through, I think it's 15 episodes, so it's a decent amount. It's a decent amount of episodes. If they keep the quality of the ships and the scenes and the CGI and all that, like, and all the scenes and all that, like, if the quality stays up, I think it'll be okay. But it's all going to depend on how they play this out. Like, is it going to be too, warlike and military all the time? Or is it going to go back to being what we love about Star Trek, which is the whole discovery part, and finding new worlds and new races and getting into crazy situations that you got to try and get out of and stuff with the ship. Like, that's the big thing. We'll see. Time will tell. But yeah. Alright, guys, that's it for us. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace. Bye.